Okay, so in this particular one, we're going to take a look at another tool. Use these shape tools. I'm going to use my selection tools. Um, I don't necessarily need my Pathfinder. If you don't think you need it, but you want to keep it out or open, I take that and I drag it into my panels over here, or I can do it from the bottom here like this, and it will become part of the panel set. The alignment tools, I can also put it in there. Transform, this is always there anyway, so I can put it like that, and it'll show up over here. So I'm going to use, let's say, I don't know, let's make some cheese. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and let's bring this down. And here, I'll press D, get on my default, and what I'm looking for, so I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see a little bit more. What I'm looking for in my tool palette, what I did was I just clicked on a little arrow, because you can modify your tool palette to make it double row, or double column tools or single column tool. And in the bottom of my color options, the stroke and the fill, this is color, this is gradient, this is none. This is my default fill and stroke color, which when I press D, and this is to switch the colors back and forth. That's the swap. And the shortcut for this is X. Or is it? Okay, they have Shift X. But if I press X, X is going to give me the reason why it switches kind of back and forth like that. Whatever's in front and you change the color, it's going to change the color of that thing. So right now, if I'm in my swatches palette, like if I go to Window, Swatches, and in my swatches palette, if I click on red or yellow, it's changing the stroke color. But if I press X and I change this to a different color, it's changing the fill color, because whatever's in front is going to change. So that's X. If I press Shift X, it's going to swap the colors. So it swaps the colors that are already there. Okay, and then D brings it back to the default colors. Now, I'm bringing you here because I want you to look at these three options below. So the three options below, one is draw behind or draw normal. Then there's another one, draw behind, and the other one is draw inside. Okay, so by default, when I choose an object, it automatically draws in front of a shape, right? Because it's object based, so the next thing you create is going to create on top and on top and on top. I'm going to delete that. But if I choose draw behind and I get the same shape and I draw, basically what's happening is whatever shape that I have on the screen already, it's going to draw behind that shape instead of in front. So it's overriding the default, which is to draw in front. Okay? The next thing is selecting this other option, which is, I'm going to say draw inside. And it says if you press Shift D to switch modes, it will do the opposite, right? So I'll click on the shape, and as I draw or create, it's creating these objects inside this shape. Now, if I press Shift D, I'm selecting another option. So Shift D is going to take me out of that so I can draw in front. And this is just the shortcut to move between modes of creation. Right? So 1 allows me, Shift D allows me to draw in front. Shift D again allows me to draw behind. And then Shift D again, I'll just do this one. Shift D allows me to draw inside. And in order for you to get out of that mode, you have to go back to draw normal. And if you look in your layer palette, when I select this shape and go to my layers, you'll see that each one of these is called a clipping group. I'm going to move this over. And this is called a clipping group. And so this shape is acting as like a container, and then the other shapes are within that container. I wouldn't be able to select these shapes individually if I didn't use the group selection tool. If I use the black arrow tool, again, we're choosing the whole shape, and we have to move that independently. Okay. Now, when it comes to color, I'm going to choose this. When it comes to coloring properties, if I choose this and choose my fill, it's going to choose the whole thing, and then I would have to use my direct selection tool or the group selection tool to choose the individual shapes to change the color. Okay, so this is the draw inside, draw behind, and draw in front. Verbal quiz. What is the default action of the drawing mode? Draw in front, draw behind, or draw inside? Draw in front. Good job. All right, so I want you to see if you can answer this question. And then you're going to have to answer this. I'm going to pull questions right out of this chapter. We're going to be doing that for homework.